October 7, 2024. 9:12 a.m. Whataburger drive-thru, Boerne, Texas. A surveillance camera captures a black GMC truck pulling through. The driver orders food. Normal morning. Nothing unusual, except for what's in the back of the truck: 3 white trash bags, a large heavy-duty trash can, an ice chest, and a large, bulky item. Wrapped and secured in a blue tarp, the driver finishes his order. Drives off. 4 hours later, that same truck pulls into a Home Depot parking lot. Surveillance cameras catch the driver going inside. He's buying supplies: 2 bags of cement. Pays cash, a construction bucket, heavy-duty black trash bags, Clorox disinfectant wipes, insect repellent. He loads everything into his truck. Gets back in, then he does something strange. He approaches a man in the parking lot. A complete stranger, and he asks, "Where's the nearest dump?" The stranger gives him directions. Watches him drive away, that man in the truck. His name is Brad Simpson. He's 53 years old. Lives in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in San Antonio. Successful businessman. Married 22 years. Father of 4, and 12 hours before he was buying cement and asking for dump locations, he reported his wife missing. Her name is Suzanne Simpson. She's 51. A luxury real estate agent. Beautiful. Successful. Mother of 4 children who adore her. The last time anyone saw Suzanne alive was the night before. October 6th. Sunday night, she went to a party at an exclusive private club with Brad. They fought. She left early. Went home, and a neighbor, sitting in his bedroom, heard what happened next, screaming. From the woods across the street, Suzanne Simpson has not been seen since, and the bulky item wrapped in the blue tarp. The cement. The trash bags. Police believe that Suzanne, her body has never been found, but 2 months before she vanished, Suzanne told her personal banker something chilling. She said, "If I go missing, look for me in a lake." But to understand why a successful real estate agent would say that, and how a 22-year marriage ended with cement and blue tarps, we need to go back to when Suzanne and Brad Simpson first started showing cracks in their perfect life. This case involves domestic violence, murder without a body, and details about evidence disposal that are disturbing. If you're sensitive to this content, this might not be the episode for you. Welcome to Case Unknown. We're continuing our Mr. Ballin-style storytelling format, and the response has been incredible. Today's story is about a woman who had everything. A thriving career. 4 kids. A beautiful home in one of San Antonio's wealthiest neighborhoods. But behind closed doors, she was planning her escape, and 2 months before she vanished, she told someone, "If I go missing, look for me in a lake." This is the story of Suzanne Simpson, a case that's still developing. A trial set to begin soon. And a body that has never been found. Let's begin. Olmos Park, Texas. 2024. If you Google Olmos Park, the first thing you'll notice is how nice it is. It's not technically San Antonio. It's an incorporated town completely surrounded by San Antonio. About 2,200 people live there. The median household income is over $100,000. Beautiful homes. Manicured lawns. Safe streets, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone. Where crime doesn't happen. Where people raise families and feel safe, and in one of those beautiful homes on East Olmos Drive lives the Simpson family, Brad and Suzanne Simpson. Married 22 years. 4 children together, ages ranging from 5 to 20, Brad is 53. He's a businessman. Works in real estate development. Successful. Well-connected. Member of the Argyle, an exclusive private dinner club in nearby Alamo Heights. Suzanne is 51. She's a luxury real estate agent at Nix Realty, one of San Antonio's top brokerages. She's beautiful. Blonde. Energetic. Her bio on Realtor.com describes her as very involved in her children's school and sports activities. She was born and raised in San Antonio. Graduated from the University of Texas. This is her city. She knows it. Loves it. Built her career here. From the outside, they look perfect. Big house. Successful careers. 4 healthy kids. Active in their community, but behind closed doors, something has been wrong for a long time. August 2023. 1 year before Suzanne's disappearance, Brad physically assaults Suzanne. We know this because Brad himself would later write notes apologizing for it. Notes that police would find on his phone. Notes created on October 8, 2024, 2 days after Suzanne vanished. In those notes, Brad apologizes for physically assaulting Suzanne Simpson one time in August of 2023, so this isn't new. This has been happening, but Suzanne doesn't tell anyone. Or if she does, she keeps it quiet. She doesn't file charges. Doesn't leave, she stays. For the kids, maybe. Or because leaving feels impossible, we don't know why. But she stays. August 2024. 2 months before Suzanne's disappearance, Suzanne walks into her bank. She meets with her personal banker. Someone she trusts. Someone she's known for years, and she says something that will haunt everyone who hears it. If I go missing, look for me in a lake. The banker is startled. What do you mean? Suzanne doesn't elaborate. She just repeats it, if I go missing. Look for me in a lake. Then she mentions something else. Something the banker finds disturbing. Brad regularly takes Suzanne's phone away from her. When he does, he tells her to tell the kids, I lost my phone. The banker doesn't know what to do with this information. Suzanne isn't asking for help. She's just telling someone. Planting a seed, in case something happens. October 6, 2024. Sunday evening. This is the last day anyone will see Suzanne Simpson alive. It starts normally. It's a Sunday. The Simpson family has plans. At 6 p.m., Brad and Suzanne attend a party at the Argyle. This is their club. Exclusive. Private. A place where San Antonio's elite socialize. Their 5-year-old daughter is with them. The other kids are at home or with friends. The party is nice. People are talking. Drinking. Socializing. But at some point during the evening, Brad and Suzanne start fighting. Witnesses at the party later tell police. There was a verbal altercation. It gets loud enough that people notice. Suzanne has had enough. Around 8:30 p.m., she leaves the Argyle with her 5-year-old daughter. Brad stays behind. 8:40 p.m. HEB grocery store on Olmos Drive. Surveillance footage shows Suzanne and her young daughter entering the HEB. They stay for about 11 minutes. Leave at 8:51 p.m. Brad will later tell police that Suzanne lost her phone at this HEB, but Suzanne's phone was never lost. Police would later track it. It was with her the entire time. Brad is lying. We don't know why yet. But he's setting up a story. 9:15 p.m. Suzanne calls a friend. After leaving HEB, Suzanne drives to a friend's house. She calls ahead to say she's coming over. She's upset. She needs to talk to someone. 9:16 p.m. Suzanne calls her mother. Suzanne calls her mom, Barbara Clark. She tells her, Brad just assaulted her. Her arm hurts. Her back hurts. Her neck hurts. Barbara is worried. Do you want me to come over? Suzanne says she'll be okay. She's going to a friend's house. She'll call later. This is the last time Suzanne's mother will ever speak to her. 9:25 p.m. At the friend's house, Suzanne arrives at her friend's house with her daughter. She stays for about 30 minutes. Talks. Vents. Calms down, then she decides to go home. Her daughter needs to go to bed. Suzanne has to face Brad eventually. She leaves around 10 p.m., drives the short distance home to East Olmos Drive, and walks into a nightmare, between 10 p.m. and 11 p.m. East Olmos Drive, Olmos Park, a neighbor, let's call him John, is in his bedroom. His window faces the street. Around 10 p.m., he hears something, voices. Arguing. Getting louder, he looks out his window. Brad and Suzanne are in the front yard. They're fighting, yelling at each other, and then it becomes physical. John watches as Brad grabs Suzanne. She's trying to pull away. Trying to get free, Brad is pulling her back down. Restraining her, John will later tell police. Brad was clearly attempting to keep Ms. Simpson from running away, and then Suzanne breaks free. She runs, not toward the house. Away from it, she runs across the street. Toward a wooded area, Brad chases her. John loses sight of them. They disappear into the darkness of the woods, and then John hears something that will haunt him forever, screaming, coming from the woods. Suzanne is screaming, approximately 11 p.m. The truck leaves, John is still awake. Still listening, the screaming has stopped, then he hears Brad's truck start up. John looks out the window. Watches Brad's black GMC truck pull out of the driveway and drive away. Where is Brad going at 11 p.m., John doesn't know. But he notes the time. Makes a mental note. About an hour or two later, around midnight or 1 a.m., John hears the truck return. Brad is home, but where is Suzanne? 12:30 a.m. Monday, October 7th. HEB surveillance. Surveillance cameras at the HEB on Olmos Drive capture Brad's truck pulling into the parking lot. The bed of the truck is mostly empty now. Just a large ice chest. Whatever Brad had in the truck earlier is gone. Or maybe he's picking something up. The camera doesn't show what he does. Just that he was there. 6:30 a.m. Monday morning, Brad will later tell police that he saw Suzanne at home at 6:30 a.m. As he was leaving to take their young child to school, he says she was fine. They talked. Normal morning, but police don't believe him, because Suzanne's phone tells a different story. 7:15 a.m. Suzanne's phone goes silent. The last activity on Suzanne Simpson's phone is around 7:15 a.m. The phone's GPS shows it's in a business parking lot in Olmos Park, not at home. In a parking lot, and then, nothing, the phone stops transmitting. Stops updating location. Stops everything, it's either turned off, destroyed, or the battery died, but one thing is certain, Suzanne is not using it. 7:53 a.m. Brad drops the child at school. Surveillance footage captures Brad dropping their young child off at school. The bed of his truck now contains at least 2 white trash bags, a large ice chest. Brad is on the move. And he's carrying something. 9:12 a.m. Whataburger drive-thru, Boerne, Texas. This is about 30 minutes north of Olmos Park. Brad has driven out of San Antonio into the hill country. Surveillance cameras at the Whataburger capture Brad's truck pulling through the drive-thru. He orders food, but look at what's in the bed of his truck. 3 white trash bags, a large heavy-duty trash can, an ice chest, a large, bulky item wrapped and secured in a blue tarp. Brad gets his food. Drives off. Police believe the item in the blue tarp is Suzanne. Later that morning, Home Depot, Boerne. Brad pulls into a Home Depot parking lot. He goes inside. Buys supplies. Pays cash for some items. What he buys: 2 bags of cement, a construction bucket, heavy-duty black trash bags, Clorox disinfectant wipes, insect repellent, for outdoor work. He loads everything into his truck. Then he approaches a stranger in the parking lot. "Excuse me," Brad says. "Where's the nearest dump?" The stranger gives him directions. Brad thanks him. Drives away. Throughout the day, Brad's phone activity. Police later analyze Brad's phone. What they find is disturbing. Brad intentionally engaged in on-off cycles throughout the day, turning his phone completely off, then back on, over and over. This prevents the phone from collecting location data. Police describe this as something someone does to avoid detection. It's rare. It's deliberate. It's what someone does when they don't want to be tracked. 3 p.m. The school calls Brad. The school where one of the Simpson children attends calls Brad. "Your child is still here. Suzanne didn't pick them up. This is unusual. Suzanne always picks up the kids. She's incredibly reliable." Brad says he'll be right there, but he doesn't seem surprised. Doesn't seem panicked. He just goes to pick up the child. Monday evening. Brad's behavior. Throughout Monday evening, Suzanne's friends are starting to worry. She's not responding to texts. Not answering calls. Didn't show up for work. One of Suzanne's close friends calls Brad around 9:55 p.m. Have you heard from Suzanne? I'm worried. Brad is vague. No, I haven't heard from her. The friend is alarmed. Brad, this isn't like her. Should we call the police? 14 minutes later, at 10:11 p.m., Brad calls police. He leaves a voicemail for Olmos Park Police Chief Fidel Villegas. He reports Suzanne missing. He says he hasn't heard from her since 11 p.m. on October 6th, but that's not entirely true. He told police earlier that he saw her at 6:30 a.m. on October 7th. His story is already inconsistent. October 9th, 2024. Wednesday. 2 days after Brad reports Suzanne missing, police have been investigating. Talking to neighbors. Pulling surveillance footage. Tracking phone records, and they've heard John's story. The neighbor who watched the fight. Heard the screaming from the woods. They've seen the surveillance footage. Brad at Whataburger with the blue tarp. Brad at Home Depot buying cement. They've analyzed Suzanne's phone. Last activity at 7:15 a.m. In a parking lot. Then nothing. On October 9th, police arrest Brad Simpson. The charges: assault causing bodily injury, family violence, unlawful restraint. Bond is set at $2 million total. $1 million for each charge. Brad is taken into custody. He's not cooperative. Doesn't attend a police interview. Remains largely silent. The searches begin. Police conduct massive searches. They search the wooded area near the Simpson home. The area where John heard Suzanne screaming. They search along Interstate 10 near Burney. The route Brad took that morning. They search a ranch Brad owns in Bandera County, about 50 miles northwest of San Antonio. They execute a search warrant at the Simpson home on East Olmos Drive. What they find: 1 bag of cement. Brad bought 2. Where's the other one? A box of heavy-duty black trash bags, a large heavy-duty trash can, a metal firewood rack. Blood in Brad's truck, later determined to be Brad's own blood, not Suzanne's. They also discover something critical: the reciprocating saw. It's been hidden. Stored away. Police tested. Suzanne's DNA is on the saw. October 23, 2024. The banker's statement. Police interview Suzanne's personal banker. The banker tells them what Suzanne said in August: "If I go missing, look for me in a lake." The banker also reveals Brad regularly took Suzanne's phone away. Made her tell the kids she lost it. This establishes a pattern of control. Of isolation. The landfill search. Based on evidence and witness statements, police obtain a warrant to search a landfill in southeast Bihar County. This is where trash from the area is taken. If Brad disposed of Suzanne's body in a dumpster, it would have ended up here. The search lasts weeks. San Antonio Police Department sends 25 cadets to help dig through trash. They find nothing. Either Suzanne isn't there, or she's buried too deep to find. November 7, 2024. Exactly 1 month after Suzanne's disappearance, a Bihar County grand jury indicts Brad Simpson on new charges: murder, tampering with a corpse, tampering with physical evidence, possession of a prohibited weapon, short-barreled rifle. Brad pleads not guilty to all charges. His trial is scheduled for February 13, 2026. The brother speaks out. Brad's younger brother, Barton Simpson, releases a public statement. He condemns Brad. Begs him to cooperate. Until Brad chooses to cooperate, we will continue to cooperate for him. This is not how he was raised. This is not who we are. Barton says the devastation to the family is overwhelming. Brad's refusal to cooperate is unacceptable. Barton and his wife have taken custody of Brad and Suzanne's 4 children. The kids are surrounded by love. But they don't have their mother, and Brad won't tell anyone where she is. What police believe happened, based on surveillance footage, witness statements, phone records, and physical evidence, police have pieced together a timeline. October 6, 10 to 11 p.m., Brad and Suzanne fight in the front yard. Suzanne runs into the woods. Brad chases her. Neighbor hears screaming. Brad kills Suzanne in the woods, or drags her back to the house and kills her there. October 6th to 7th, late night/early. Morning, Brad loads Suzanne's body into his truck, possibly wraps her in the blue tarp at this time. Drive somewhere, 12:30 a.m. HEB surveillance shows nearly empty truck bed, returns home around 1 a.m., October 7th, morning, 6:30 a.m. Brad disposes of or hides Suzanne's phone, last activity 7:15 a.m. in parking lot, 7:53 a.m. Brad has trash bags and ice chest in truck, 9:12 a.m. Brad at Whataburger with blue tarp wrapped item, later. Brad at Home Depot buying cement, trash bags, Clorox. Brad asks stranger, where's the nearest dump, what happened after? Brad likely used the cement to weigh down Suzanne's body, disposed of her in a location police haven't found. Could be in a lake, Suzanne's prediction to her banker, could be in a remote area on his Bandera ranch, could be in a body of water in the hill country. Why no body? Texas has thousands of acres of remote ranch land, numerous lakes, rivers, and reservoirs. If Suzanne is weighted with cement in a lake, she may never surface. If she's buried on private property, finding her without Brad's cooperation is nearly impossible. The notes on Brad's phone, on October 8, 2 days after Suzanne vanished. 1 day after Brad reported her missing, Brad created notes on his phone. In these notes, Brad apologizes for physically assaulting Suzanne in August 2023, physically assaulting Suzanne on October 6, 2024, the night she vanished. Why would Brad create these notes? Police believe he was trying to establish a narrative. Create a record that showed remorse. In case his phone was searched, but instead, it became evidence of domestic violence. Evidence that Brad had assaulted Suzanne the night she disappeared. James Cotter, the friend who helped. Brad had a longtime business associate named James Cotter. In the days after Suzanne's disappearance, Brad texted Cotter. Police believe Brad asked Cotter to hide evidence, specifically, an illegally modified AK-47 that Brad kept in his gun room. Police found the weapon hidden inside a wall at Cotter's home in the Dominion, another wealthy San Antonio neighborhood. Cotter was charged with possession of prohibited weapons, tampering with evidence with intent to impair an investigation. He remains in custody. His trial is set for later in 2026, where the case stands now, March 2026, Brad Simpson remains in Behar County Jail. His bond was denied. His trial is set to begin February 13, 2026. The prosecution has evidence, witness testimony, neighbor who saw the fight, heard screaming, surveillance footage, blue tarp, cement purchases, phone records, Brad turning his phone on, off to avoid tracking. Physical evidence, reciprocating saw with Suzanne's DNA, banker testimony, look for me in a lake, Brad's own notes, admitting to assaults. What the prosecution doesn't have, Suzanne's body. In Texas, you can be convicted of murder without a body. It's called a no-body case, but it's harder. Much harder, the defense will argue. How do you know she's dead? How do you prove Brad killed her? Maybe she ran away. Maybe she's alive somewhere. The prosecution will counter. The evidence is overwhelming. The surveillance footage. The screaming. The saw with her DNA. The cement and trash bags. The complete disappearance of a devoted mother who would never abandon her kids. The jury will decide. Suzanne's family speaks. Suzanne's mother, Barbara Clark, spoke at a vigil weeks after Suzanne vanished. I just don't understand. I don't understand why it happened. It wasn't part of their life, but it was part of their life. Behind closed doors, the assault in August 2023. The phone being taken away. The banker's warning. The assault on October 6th, it was happening. Suzanne's family just didn't see it, or maybe they saw it and didn't know how to help. The children, 4 kids. Ages 5 to 20, they've lost their mother. Their father is in jail charged with murdering her. They're being raised by their uncle Barton and his wife. Barton has said, the kids are surrounded with love and caring and compassion and are doing as well as you could think for anybody in this situation. But how well can you be doing when your father killed your mother and won't tell anyone where she is? Brad's silence. Brad Simpson has not cooperated with police. He has not told them where Suzanne is. He has not confessed. Has not explained what happened. Has not given any information. His brother begged him publicly, Do the right thing, Brad. He hasn't, and so Suzanne's family is left with nothing. No body to bury. No closure. No answers, just the knowledge that she's out there somewhere. Alone. And Brad is the only one who knows where. Suzanne Clark Simpson was 51 years old. She was a luxury real estate agent. A mother of 4. A woman who lit up every room she walked into. She was born and raised in San Antonio. Graduated from the University of Texas. Built a successful career. Raised 4 beautiful children, and in August 2024, she told her banker, "If I go missing, look for me in a lake." She knew. Some part of her knew. On October 6, 2024, Suzanne went to a party with her husband at an exclusive private club. They fought. She left early. Went home, and a neighbor heard her screaming in the woods. The next morning, her husband was buying cement and asking strangers where the nearest dump was. Suzanne Simpson has not been seen since. Her body has never been found. Brad Simpson is charged with murder. Tampering with a corpse. Tampering with evidence. His trial is scheduled to begin February 13, 2026. If convicted, Brad will spend the rest of his life in prison, but even if he's convicted, he still has one final act of cruelty available to him. He can continue to refuse to tell Suzanne's family where she is. And in Texas, there's no law that can force him to talk. So Suzanne's mother, Barbara, and her 4 children, and her friends, and her community, they're all left waiting, hoping that someday, somehow, Suzanne will be found, and that she can finally rest in peace. The Suzanne Simpson case has gripped San Antonio for over a year. Vigils. Searches. A community demanding justice. This is case unknown. Sometimes, the person you're most afraid of is the person sleeping next to you. The person you built a life with. The person who promised to love and protect you, and sometimes, evil doesn't hide. It just waits.